Hi, Face to Face. This is Joshua Lorente. So, a little bit about myself. Okay. So, I was born and raised here in Bristol. My parents emigrated from the Philippines to the UK. And shortly after I was born, my mum decided to send me back home to live with my grandparents. Because at the time, both my parents didn't have a really steady income to have a permanent house in the UK. I was living with my grandparents till about 10 to 11 months, and while I was living there, my uncle took a lot of home videos with his old camcorder to shoot videos of me to send to my mum while I was there. And that was really good to look back on, really. Like, I didn't really remember much at the time, but that was really good, like, fond memories for my grandparents and my uncle to see me growing up, even for that short amount of time. My passion for music started, I would say my passion for music started pretty early on. My granddad, on my mum's side, played the guitar growing up. So my mum was obviously really raised in an environment full of musical instruments. And from an early age, he would always try to encourage me to start playing instruments. So like, it started off with playing with toy drums to when I was a little older, around 3, 4, 5. They got me my first little small like electronic keyboard that I would always use in my room. Then eventually I just really gravitated towards just using the guitar, and that's always what I've stuck with, really. I would say I definitely have big plans in the future, aspiration-wise, for my career in music. Bristol is where I'm currently living, and that's where I grew up, and it is a very good hub for independent artists, for bands. There's a lot of places for gigs as well. So really, I'm just looking to establish myself at the moment at this point in my career, and wherever that takes me in the future, I'd definitely like to sell out shows, go on tour in the future. That's definitely something really big I have in mind. The first time I experienced being treated differently was definitely when I was a lot younger in school. Like, it was just me and another Filipino kid in my whole year, and growing up in a whole predominantly white privileged area, we stuck out very much, and there were lots of occurrences where me and him would get mixed up by students and also teachers, which was probably even worse. But I would say other times, like in school, would just be like passing through the corridors trying to get to my lessons, where I would be made fun of by kids passing by calling me Chinese, and that really opened my eyes to seeing how I'm treated differently towards other kids in my school. How do I describe my sound to people that haven't heard my music? How would I describe my sound to people that haven't heard my music? That's another good question. I would say it's definitely a very indie vibe, but very much nostalgic, because I like to incorporate a lot of acoustic guitars in my work and a lot of vintage synths. But I would say it's a very summertime music that you could just blast out with your friends all summer long, and you'll notice a lot in my music video coming up for my hit song. It's definitely very carefree and it's a very upbeat song.